The year was 2094. Earth had changed. Cities had grown taller. Machines did most of the work. People lived longer, but they also feared the unknown. Rumors had spread over the years, strange lights in the sky, silent disappearances, secret missions. Governments said everything was fine. But not everyone believed them. Jason Cole was one of those people. He was a former Air Force pilot. Strong, calm, quiet. He didn't trust politics, and he didn't like fame. After retirement, he worked at a military research base deep in Nevada. The work was simple. Watch the skies. Report anything unusual. Nothing ever happened. Until one night, Jason was alone in the control room. A strange signal blinked on the radar. A shape, not a plane, not a satellite, moved across the sky too fast for the system to track. Then everything went dark. No lights, no sound. Number. Time to react. A sharp pain hit the back of his neck. He fell to the ground. When he opened his eyes, he was no longer on Earth. The room around him was bright and cold. The walls were smooth like metal, but they glowed softly. He was lying on a flat surface. No chains, no handcuffs. But he couldn't move. His body felt heavy. He looked around. There were no windows, no doors. Just silence. Then they entered. 3 tall figures stepped into the room. They were not human. Their skin shimmered like silver mixed with violet. Their eyes were large, calm, and glowing. They wore long robes that moved like water. All 3 were female. Jason tried to speak, but his voice was weak. One of them raised her hand. A small wave of energy passed through the room. Suddenly, he could understand her. "You are awake," she said. Her voice was soft but powerful. It echoed inside his mind. "You have been taken from your planet. Do not be afraid. You are safe." Jason tried to sit up. His muscles burned. "Who are you?" he asked. "We are the Zerani," she replied. "We come from a world far beyond your system. You have been chosen." Chosen? For what? Jason's voice was shaky now. He felt fear creeping in. The second Zerani female stepped forward. She was taller than the others. Her eyes studied him like a scientist watches a test subject. She spoke with more weight in her words. "You are a desire carrier, a rare type. Your emotions, your chemistry, your biology, they make you valuable." Jason stared at her. "What are you talking about? What do you want from me?" The third Zerani approached. She held a small glowing sphere in her hands. She didn't speak. She just looked at him with something between curiosity and hunger. "You have been sentenced," said the first. "Not for a crime you committed, but for the role you must play. You will help us. You will be tested, studied, watched." Jason's heart was racing now. "You can't do this. I'm a human. I have rights." The second one smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. On Earth maybe, but you are not on Earth anymore. The lights in the room began to dim. A low hum filled the air. The sphere in the third woman's hand started to glow brighter. Jason felt his body getting warm. His heartbeat slowed. His eyes began to close. He tried to fight it. He shouted. He moved his fingers, but it was useless. A soft mist filled the room. It smelled sweet and strange. His mind became blurry. Just before losing consciousness, he heard one final sentence. "Your sentence begins now." And then, silence. No time, no space. Just sleep. Far above Earth, in a ship hidden by cloaking. Tech. A new chapter in human history had begun. Jason Cole, a simple man with no idea of his fate, had become the center of an alien experiment. One that would challenge not just his body, but his very identity. The Zerani didn't take prisoners. They didn't need slaves. They needed something else. Something only a human could give. Jason didn't wake up on a bed. He was floating. His body drifted slowly inside a clear chamber filled with thick blue liquid. He wasn't breathing, yet somehow he was alive. His arms moved gently, like in a dream. Lights blinked all around him, silent and cold. Outside the glass, shadowy figures watched. They were not the same women he saw before. These ones wore tight, white suits, their faces covered by silver masks. They moved with exact steps, no sound, no hesitation. One of them pressed her hand against the glass. The liquid started draining. Jason dropped hard onto a metallic floor. Coughing, he gasped. Chest rising fast, body shaking. No pain, no wounds. But everything felt wrong. He could feel every heartbeat, every breath, even the air touching his skin. A voice echoed in the room, calm, smooth, and sharp. Serum complete. Subject has accepted the bond. Jason turned his head, a single Zerani woman walked into the chamber. She didn't wear a robe. Her outfit looked like armor, dark silver and curved at the edges. Her hair was braided tightly. Her eyes, glowing gold, locked onto him. "I am Luria," she said, "lead scientist of the emotion wing." Jason struggled to sit up. "What did you do to me?" "We gave you what your kind has always feared," she replied. "Truth, feeling, need." He shook his head. "I don't understand." Luria tilted, her head curious. "The desire serum," she explained. "It enhances emotional response, attraction, focus, instinct. It pulls the deepest part of a being to the surface." Jason stood up slowly. His legs felt stronger. His senses were sharper. But something inside him was shifting. He could feel it, like a second version of himself was waking up. "I'm not some lab rat," he said. "No," Luria agreed. "You are far more valuable." She pointed to the wall. It shimmered, then changed into a giant screen. Jason saw images flash. Past tests, other subjects, many not human. All failed. Either the serum broke them or their emotions didn't respond. "But humans," Luria continued, "are different. You feel more than most species. Pain, love, desire. That's why you were chosen." Jason clenched his fists. "What do you want from me?" "We want to understand what your kind calls connection," she said, "and we want to survive." He looked confused. "Our people are fading," she admitted. "We are strong in mind but cold in heart. The serum is not just a test, it is hope." Jason stared at the screen. He saw one word appear beside his face. Active subject 72. Prime. "Bond trial begins, trial?" he asked. The doors behind Luria opened. A woman stepped in, not Zerani, not human, something between. Her features were soft, but her eyes carried the same golden glow. She looked at Jason like she already knew him. "This is Virea," Luria said. "She was born from old DNA. A blend of your world and ours. She will be your first bond." Jason took a step back. "You're pairing me with her? Like some mating test?" Luria didn't blink. "Not mating, understanding, touch, reaction, memory. We will observe all." Virea reached out a hand. Jason hesitated. The serum inside him stirred. Her presence pulled at him. His heartbeat changed. He touched her hand. Flashes exploded in his mind. A woman on Earth he once loved. A moment of pain, a secret he never told. The chamber around them faded into a soft, simulated forest. Jason gasped. "What is this place?" "A memory chamber," Virea said softly. "We don't control it. You do." Jason turned slowly. Trees, wind, distant thunder. But everything looked shaped by his emotions. "You feel it now," Virea said. "This is what they want." He pulled his hand back. The forest flickered. "This isn't real," he said. "It's real enough," she replied. "And they're watching." Jason looked toward the invisible walls. He knew it. He was a subject in a test, but one unlike anything before. This wasn't about strength or survival. It was about emotion, response, connection. And the serum was unlocking more than feelings. It was unlocking secrets. Jason was standing in water. It reached just above his ankles, warm, still, glowing slightly blue. He looked around. The sky was orange. The air smelled like rain, though no clouds were in sight. He was alone. Or at least, that's how it looked. Then, he saw her. Varaya stood at a distance, barefoot, wearing a light robe. The fabric moved even though there was no wind. Her eyes met his, calm but unreadable. "This is the trial chamber," she said. Jason narrowed his eyes. "I thought that." Serum session was the trial. Varaya shook her head gently. "That was only activation. This is where they begin to measure your value." He looked around again. "And what do I do here? Solve puzzles? Run through fire?" "No," she replied. "You remember." Jason felt a sudden pull, like gravity shifting. A wave of energy passed through him, not painful, but powerful. His chest tightened. Then the world around him changed. The sky turned gray. The water turned to dry earth. The warmth faded. Now he stood in the ruins of an old house, one he knew well. It was his childhood home. Broken wood. Dust. The smell of burnt metal. He turned slowly. Every corner, every mark, every detail, exactly how he remembered it. Even the broken photo frame near the door. "How do you know this place?" he asked Varaya, who now stood beside him. "We don't," she said. "You brought it here. The serum unlocks memory by emotion. Strong feelings take form." Jason took a deep breath. He was no longer confused. Now he was angry. "You have no right to be inside my mind." "This is not about rights," she replied. "It's about survival." Suddenly, a voice echoed from another room. "Jason." He froze. That voice, it wasn't Varaya. It wasn't a Zirani. It was his father's voice. Jason turned and walked slowly down the hallway. The door at the end opened on its own. Inside, a man sat in a chair, back toward him. Familiar. Silent. Waiting. Jason whispered, "Dad?" The figure turned halfway. But the face was blurred. Almost real, almost not. This wasn't a memory. This was a reconstruction. Jason stepped back. "This isn't right. He's dead." Varaya stood in the doorway. "They want to see how grief affects you. How regret shapes your choices. This isn't about desire. It's about identity." Jason clenched his fists. "And if I refuse to take part in this?" "Show." Varaya walked in slowly. "Then they will see weakness. They need emotional strength, not just physical control. They're building something bigger, a hybrid future. You are the key test." The figure in the chair stood up. It started walking toward Jason. Its form shifted. First his father. Then a friend from school. Then the woman he once loved, Anna. Her face was clear. Her voice matched. Her scent, even her way of blinking, perfect. But Jason wasn't fooled. "You're not her," he said. The image of Anna stopped. "You left me," it whispered. "You never came back." Jason stepped closer. "I tried to come back, but I didn't know how to fix what was broken." The image flickered. The room cracked apart. Now Jason and Varaya stood in complete darkness. Single white line appeared beneath their feet. "This is your emotional core," Varaya said. "You walked the line without falling. That means something." Jason looked at her. "Is this what they want? Control through guilt?" She didn't answer. Then a sudden shift. The walls opened. The darkness disappeared. Now they stood in a cold observation deck. The trial was over. The fake world was gone. Above them, behind a thick screen, several Zirani elders stood in silence, watching. Jason looked up at them and raised his voice. "You think this proves something? That I'm your answer?" One of the elders replied. Voice cold and clear. "You are not the answer. You are the risk. The serum reacts too deeply to you." Varaya stepped between them. "He survived the emotional cycle. That hasn't happened before." The elder paused. Then begin the second trial. Jason's eyes narrowed. How many trials are there? Varela looked at him with something close to worry. They won't tell us, not even me. Jason stood in front of a mirror, but it wasn't his reflection. The man staring back had Jason's face, same eyes, same scars, but something was off. His pupils glowed faint blue. His chest rose and fell too slowly, too steady. His lips curled into a smirk Jason never wore. Then the voice came. You are becoming one of them. Jason blinked. The mirror turned black. The walls behind him pulsed with light, then vanished. He wasn't in a room anymore. He was in his own mind, or maybe someone else's. Suddenly, the environment around him shimmered and reformed into a long corridor of floating glass panels. Each one showed a different memory, some his own, others unfamiliar, scenes of humans he had never met, machines he had never seen, and worlds he had never touched. From the shadows, Luria emerged again, the armored Zerani scientist from before. You found the link, she said. Most subjects don't survive this far. Jason frowned. This isn't a trial anymore. This is a trap. She walked slowly around him. It's an archive inside you. The serum didn't just unlock your emotions. It connected you to our network. He looked up. You're inside my mind now? No, she answered. You're inside ours. Jason backed away. I never gave you permission. You never had a choice, Luria replied coldly. But now, you have something more dangerous, awareness. Jason's heart pounded. His will fought to block her out. He thought of Earth. He thought of freedom. The images on the glass panels started glitching. Some shattered mid-air. You're resisting, she said. Good. Resistance shows strength. But it also makes you unstable. Jason stepped closer. What happens if I break this system? Luria raised an eyebrow. Then you become something else entirely. And we don't know what that will be. The corridor cracked open beneath his feet. He fell, not in body, but in thought. Jason landed in a dark lab filled with old Earth tech, broken monitors, steel tables, half-burnt journals. One book lay open under a spotlight. Its pages were torn, but one name stood out in red ink. Dr. Ames. Jason picked it up. Inside, he found personal logs, detailed records of another human taken long before him. The writing was shaky, paranoid, but clear. They watch everything. The serum doesn't just change your body, it maps your will. Once it finishes, you stop being you. Jason turned the page. There was a sketch of a device, small, metallic, shaped like an eye. A note beside it read, "Fail-safe implant. Placed behind left ear. Only use if identity loss begins." Jason reached behind his own left ear. Something was there. A small bump, never noticed before. He pressed it. A pulse surged through his brain. The lights flickered, alarms rang. Jason screamed, falling to the floor. But in the pain, something unlocked. He saw memories that weren't his. Thousands of them. Other human test subjects. All male, all broken. None survived past phase 3. Except Dr. Ames. And now him. Varela appeared in the chaos, her eyes wide with shock. What did you do? Jason stood up, breathing hard. I woke up. Varela looked around. You activated a forbidden sequence. They'll come for you now. Let them, Jason said. I want answers. She grabbed his arm. You want answers? Then follow me. There's one place even the matriarchs can't see. Jason hesitated. Why are you helping me now? Varela's voice softened. Because I was born from two worlds. And I don't belong to either. They ran together through the flickering lab, past broken chambers and ancient files. Doors opened as they approached, not from access, but from fear. The system recognized Jason was no longer a test subject. He was an anomaly, and anomalies Are dangerous. They reached a hidden elevator deep in the facility. Viraya turned to him. Below this level, they keep what they fear most, the truth. Jason nodded. Double quotes. No more trials, he said. No, she replied. This time you are the one observing them. The elevator didn't move with sound. There was no hum, no motion, not even gravity. One moment Jason stood beside Viraya in a tight metal box. The next, the doors opened into complete darkness. Not blackness, void. Jason stepped out slowly. There were no walls. No floor. Just a glowing path beneath his feet, stretching into what looked like empty space. Far above, strange symbols floated in the air like constellations. They moved slowly, pulsing with dull red light. What is this place? He asked. Viraya didn't step forward. This is below the physical world. This is where they store what they fear. Jason turned to her. You're not coming? If I enter with you, she said, they'll erase my hybrid code. I won't survive it. Jason nodded once and walked ahead. Each step echoed without sound. It didn't make sense. None of this did. But something inside him pulled forward. The serum, or his own curiosity. Halfway down the glowing path, a voice returned. Not a whisper. A message, fractured, broken, but human. Jason Cole, if you've reached this layer, then you're almost where I was. I'm Dr. Ames, and they still think I'm dead. Jason stopped. The message came from a floating crystal shard ahead, suspended in midair. As he approached, the shard lit up and displayed a moving image, a hologram of a man in a tattered lab coat, face tired but eyes alert. Dr. Ames, this is not a lab, the recording said. It's a memory prison. The serum doesn't just evolve you. It copies you, your thoughts, your patterns, your soul. Jason leaned in. They call it the Merge Project, Ames continued. Every test subject isn't just a study, he's a backup. A duplicate. They don't want to bond with humans. They want to become human. Jason's jaw tightened. They want to create a Zerani who can think, feel, and lead like a human, without actually being one. Suddenly, red light flickered. Along the path, a distant hum returned. They found me, Ames said. If you're hearing this, then you're the last anomaly. Which means one thing. The shard flickered. They can't control you. Jason felt his pulse quicken. Behind him, the floating path began to fall apart. Segments cracked and disappeared into the void. He ran forward. The path curved down into a spiral staircase, built from hard light. Jason took the steps two at a time. At the bottom stood a large vault door, with a hand panel glowing green. He reached out. It scanned his palm. Welcome back. The system said in Zerani. The vault opened. Inside was a long hall filled with suspended capsules, hundreds. Each one contained a human form, floating, silent, but familiar. Jason froze. They were all versions of him, slight differences. Scars in different places, some younger, some older. Some with eyes open, watching. Jason's stomach turned. These are ... copies. The voice of Ames returned from a speaker above. No, these are failed timelines. Echoes of you from other versions of the trials. They studied your reactions, erased you, reset you, and tried again. Jason stepped back. How many times have I lived this? Ames replied, 72. Jason felt the room spin. He had no memory of any other life, but now he knew why he was different. Why the serum reacted. Why the system trembled when he resisted. He wasn't just a human subject. He was the glitch they couldn't fix, and they feared him for it. Behind him, the vault door slammed shut. Viraya's voice echoed inside the chamber through a small link she hid in his wrist. Jason, they've activated security. They know you're in the vault. You need to move. Jason looked around. I'm not leaving. Not yet. I need to destroy this. No, she said. You need to choose. He approached a central terminal. It had two options glowing on screen: merge sequence, begin, anomaly protocol, burn everything. Jason stood still, his hand hovering over the controls. If he merged, he might survive, but become something else. If he burned it all, he'd kill the copies, and maybe himself. Asterisk, the other Jason stepped out of the cracked capsule. Same face, same voice, but his eyes glowed brighter. His movement was smooth, too smooth. Like he'd practiced being Jason for years. You don't understand, the copy said. I'm you, but perfected. You're holding on to fear. I let it go. Jason raised a hand toward the control panel. Burn it all. The copy tilted his head. Even yourself? Jason hesitated. Behind him, the vault lights dimmed. A siren began to pulse deep in the walls. Security protocols were waking up. The air turned colder. You don't have time to think, the copy said. You have time to choose. Jason turned slowly. If you're me, why are you trying to stop me? I'm not, the copy replied. I'm offering you what they never did, a future with control. The transformation is already happening inside you. You've seen things you weren't supposed to. Felt things no one else did. You're not just resisting them anymore. You're evolving. Jason stepped closer. That's what this is really about, isn't it? Not tests, not science. They want to become something new. And I'm the blueprint. The copy nodded, and so am I. Just then, Varea's voice broke through his comlink. Jason, your body is reacting. The final phase of the serum is starting. Your vitals are spiking. If it completes, there's no going back. You won't be fully human anymore. Jason looked at the control panel. The screen was changing. One button now read, escape pod activation. The other, merge consciousness. Turn to the copy. If I merge with you, do I survive? The copy didn't smile. You live. But not as just Jason. A sudden crash echoed through the vault. Steel doors ripped open at the far end. Zerani guards poured in, tall, armored, emotionless. They held weapons that didn't fire bullets. They bent minds. Jason backed toward the escape pod hatch. Copy followed. You'll never outrun the transformation. It's inside you now. If you escape, you'll take it to Earth. You'll become the start of something new, or something dangerous. Jason stared at the pod, then at the panel, then back at the copy. What would the real me do? He asked aloud. The copy didn't answer. Jason ran. He slammed the escape activation button. The vault shook. Flames burst from the capsule chamber. The clones behind him screamed, or maybe it was just the sound of systems crashing. Varea's voice guided him as he sprinted through the hall. Pod is launching in 20 seconds. You'll have one shot. Once it starts, I can't stop it. Jason leapt into the pod. Doors sealed, glass locked tight. Red light blinked overhead. He caught his reflection again, but something had changed. Veins glowed faint blue. His pupils flickered like data pulses. His heartbeat had slowed, not from fear, but design. He was transforming. As the pod launched, the ship shook violently. The vault behind him erupted into fire and static. The last thing he saw through the glass was the copy, standing calmly, arms folded, watching him leave. Then silence. The pod flew into black space. No voice. No warning. Just a single notification flashing in red. Bioform 72 status. Unknown hybrid Earth. Re-entry in 1 hour. Jason leaned back in the pod seat. He looked at his hands. His skin still looked human. But he knew better. Something was changing. Inside, thought patterns, memory access. Even his dreams had begun to shift. He was still Jason, but not only Jason. He stared through the window, Earth glowing in the distance. Blue, green, warm. Home. But what would come home with him? The pod landed in silence. No fire, no explosion. Just a soft hiss as steam escaped and the hatch unlocked. The earth was calm. Morning light broke through the clouds. Birds moved across the sky like nothing had ever changed. But Jason had. He stepped out slowly, feet touching real ground for the first time in weeks. Grass bent under his boots. Wind touched his face. It should have felt like home. It didn't. The world looked different, sharper, slower. He could hear insects beneath the soil. He could smell chemicals in the air from miles away. The serum hadn't worn off. It had settled. Jason checked his wrist. The tracker was fried. No signal, no noise. Just one blinking symbol he didn't recognize. He walked toward the edge of a forest. A road shimmered in the distance. A gas station. People. He could feel them before he saw them. Their emotions. Their thoughts like whispers. In static, fear, curiosity, hunger, pain, hope. Jason flinched. He gripped his head. Too many voices. Too much data. But it faded, as if his mind started adjusting, organizing it. Then he heard one voice stand out. Not near. Not physical, but somewhere deep inside his mind. You returned. You chose your world. Jason whispered. But I didn't return. Alone. No, she said. You brought the blueprint. A truck passed on the nearby road. A woman glanced at Jason from the window. For a split second, her eyes flickered blue. Just for a moment. Then gone. Jason froze. Someone else had it. Or maybe everyone did. He walked into the gas station. A boy at the counter smiled politely. Jason nodded back. But the boy's mind was louder than his face. He was angry, afraid, pretending to be fine. Jason could hear it like radio static. Jason stepped outside again. The sky felt heavier. Memory returned, not his own, but one from the vault. A Zerani elder once said, "To transform a species, don't conquer it. Touch its heart, one at a time." Jason looked down at his hands. He had touched nothing. But something had already started. He walked to a mirror outside the building. This time, his reflection didn't lie. His eyes flickered. His pulse was slow. But inside, beyond blood and bone, something deeper had grown. Not alien, not human. Both. His voice was calm now. Not confused, not scared. They didn't change me. He stepped back. I made the choice. Then he vanished into the crowd. No one noticed. No alarms. No warning. Just a man walking among them, carrying the next phase of something far bigger than anyone understood. Maybe he would save the world, or maybe this was how it ended. But one thing was certain. The choice he made, it echoed, and it would never stop.